Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining Jeff and I today on our webcast. We're going to get into the mutual fund business, but before we do that, Jeff, what's going on behind you?
Oh, it's a bank vault. We're talking
Yeah.
about mutual funds and all the money they charge their clients, so they've got to keep it somewhere, don't they?
True. Okay, so let's get into it. The mutual funds, they're marketed as simple and safe, but often come with hidden fees and conflict of interest, management expense ratios that a lot of people are not aware of. So the total cost of a mutual fund is a management expense ratio that is factored into the price of the fund. Um, so it's interesting because, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to mention that what triggered our decision to write about this topic today is that a client of ours asked us to look at a portfolio statement a week or two ago, which had a bunch of mutual funds. And anytime I'm asked to do that, I always just look at the fees to communicate that back to the person. And
Hmm.
banks are generally, like mutual funds are usually expensive. And so I took out the name of the institution, but we put a chart in our blog just to show how expensive they are. They range from 2.3% to 2.6%. And that's
Hmm.
not tax deductible. And that's a huge point because if you have a discretionary portfolio like what we do, the fee in your non-registered account is tax deductible. And if it's in an RSP, it's a tax-free withdrawal, right? If you take money out of your RSP, you have to pay tax on it, but not if
Right.
it's a fee. Management fee, or pardon me, management expense ratios on mutual funds have no tax deductibility,
Hmm.
in addition
Yeah.
to just being expensive on an absolute basis. Anything over 2% is
Right.
pretty high. But
Yeah,
sorry,
they
go
kind of
on.
range. Yeah, they kind of range, I guess, accordingly to how active they are managed. And then those are usually generally more expensive. So when you get into the fixed incomes and the money markets, it's virtually a lot lower price. But nevertheless, those fees generally run higher than a portfolio that we run. So,
Significantly higher, yeah.
yeah,
And why don't we talk about this report that the regulators came out with on the sales culture a week or two ago? This was a joint review by the Ontario Securities Commission and the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization.
right.
And some
Which
of the
zero.
statistics they zero, yeah. Some of the statistics in there are quite alarming. Why don't you mention the first one and I'll take the
Yeah,
second one.
okay. So they said that 24% of fund sellers admitted to recommending unsuitable products. So
Yeah,
not
for
necessarily
us,
in the best interest of the client.
yeah, for us that has to be 0% because
Hmm.
the law requires us to always put the best interest of the clients first. And 24%, that's a
Yeah.
very high number.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's startling. 33% said clients have been given incorrect information about products or services being recommended. You would
Hmm.
like to think that was probably not in bad faith. Very early in before I was in the business, I bought some mutual funds as a late teen, and I asked the person at the bank a couple of questions, and she had no idea the answer. So she pulled out the booklet and was going through the pages looking for it. But selling mutual funds wasn't her primary business. She's writing mortgages, she's opening bank accounts for people. So that could explain that one. But
So she ended up
33%,
opening. Okay. All right.
it's a high number.
And then the last one's 40% acknowledged employer pressure influenced their recommendations. So that's the sales targets from the bank on some of their employees, the
Yeah,
sales team.
yeah. No, sales targets, that must be very stressful to have to deal with.
Hmm.
To me, the most interesting statistic was the last one, which is that 23% of mutual fund advisors couldn't define what a management expense ratio is. That is the
Yeah.
all-in fee on the mutual funds you're selling your client. They should know that should be 0%. Didn't know what that to me is quite alarming. 23%.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the bottom line is mutual funds, for the most part, generally are expensive. And based on this report from the Ontario Securities Commission and Ciro, um, there are some other grave concerns, I think, about the people selling the funds at the big
Mhm.
banks.
Right.
So, why don't we talk about how we're different from this?
Yeah. So we aren't owned by a big bank. However, we do work with our custodian, which is a bank, and we run 100% independent. So you and I get to, no bank quotas, no in-house products. There's no pushing of anything. Um, we know exactly what everyone has, and there's no outside pressure.
Mhm.
And we absolutely do things as, in the best interest of our clients.
Yeah, we send out a monthly statement as well, which shows what you own, but it also has a transaction history. And because we send it out every month, we'll show you all the activity that happened in the last 30 days. Couldn't be
Mhm.
more transparent than it is. It shows anything we
Right.
bought, anything we sold, dividends you received, interest that came into your account, any fee, even any transfer between accounts. So couldn't be more transparent if we tried.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge difference when you compare it to a mutual fund where, I mean, you have no idea what's going on.
I don't know if the mutual fund industry is at that point like we are, where we have to be 100% transparent with our fees and everything. I don't think it's a requirement yet. I think they've been working on it and it's coming, maybe
Yeah,
in 2026, where they will be required by regulators to disclose full disclosure on everything. But until then, there's a lot of misunderstanding and people don't know exactly what they're paying or what's embedded in those prices or fees. So, yeah,
yeah,
it's interesting.
yeah. Total cost reporting is coming into effect. It starts January 1st of 2026 with the first report having to go out to clients the end of 2026.
And this is
So
mutual
it's a year and a
funds,
half.
zero and yeah.
Yeah, so it's about a year and a half away.
Okay.
So, if you have mutual funds and you want us to have a look at the costs that the fund charges, feel free to reach out to us. No obligation or anything, but we'll have a look and let you know what you're paying.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Okay.
Well, on that happy note, I'll see you next week.
Okay, good. Talk to you soon.